try every year, if I have the time to get away, to come here. I think it's one of the most charming places in the world. And I've been fortunate that for many summers I've had a chance to come for at least 2 weeks. Wow.
Take it from Old Blue Eyes, it's a very regal edition of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
Hi, I'm Robin Leach in Monaco, the glittering gem of the Riviera.
And you've got a VIP ticket to Prince Rainier's private party. Play with all your favourite stars at the exclusive event that wowed the world and drew Hollywood's heaviest hitters to the most lavish extravaganza in the city that put the ooh in ooh la la, Monte Carlo.
Fame and fortune, the final frontier. Your host is Robin Leach, who circles the globe to uncover the stories America will never stop talking about. He pioneered television comedy and got stuck with a nickname for life. Candid confessions on life, laughter, and love from Uncle Milty, plus the bedroom joke that backfired. She's got 227 reasons to live it up. Sexy Jack Hay plays Princess on the Prowl. If he ruled the world, every day would be a party. The California whiz kid who pocketed a fortune making adult toys and turned play day into payday by creating the sharper image. On the sunny, funny Riviera, Bill Cosby serves up laughs off camera for Felicia Rashad. As the champagne flows in Monte Carlo, all the superstars come out to play. When we return, Lifestyle's biggest daredevil to date. Come fly with British multimillionaire Richard Branson as he gambles his life and his fortune to break a record crossing the Atlantic. It was a journey some felt was not meant to be. Stay with us.
Stories we have presented on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous have had as great a potential for tragedy as this one. It's about a gambler, a man who risked his life savings to open a chain of discount stores, who then gambled the success of that venture to start a record business, only to turn around and bet it all on an airline. Today, he's worth nearly $500 million. He has one thing left to gamble: his life.
I think your first solo flight in anything is a mixture of something which is a bit magnificent and a bit awe-inspiring.
Those were the thoughts of Richard Branson on the eve of an adventure that almost killed him and his partner, Pearl Lindstrand. The duo sought to become the first men to cross the Atlantic in a hot air balloon, a distance of 3,400 miles. 6 unsuccessful attempts had been made by other daredevils. The cost, 5 men dead. Though a helium-filled balloon actually made the crossing, cynics doubted a hot air balloon could. Even Branson was uneasy about his chances.
And I've got, you know, a wonderful team of people around me, and lovely family, lovely children, and anyway, something which I don't really want to think about at this stage.
Branson had everything to lose. In addition to his loving family, the whiz kid mogul heads a $500 million empire that includes Virgin Records, Virgin Airways, and, appropriately, a paradise vacation island in the Virgin Islands. Astonishingly, the atypical tycoon runs the 128 company operation from a houseboat. Given health, wealth, and happiness, why run the risk of losing it all to the Grim Reaper with such air-brained daring-do?
In life, unless you actually try things, I think you've often failed before, anyway. And I think that if everybody were worried about, you know, getting red faces, nobody would try anything, and barriers would not be pushed forward.
Mild-mannered Branson is used to pushing his luck. In 1984, he went foot to the floor attempting to break the world's speed record for crossing the Atlantic by boat, and nearly drowned when his super-powered speed machine sank just 100 miles short of its destination. stirred but not shaken, he was back the next year with victory, pounding over the waves from New York to England in 3 days, 18 hours and 31 minutes. How ironic that the owner of a fleet of luxury jumbos will do almost anything to cross the Atlantic without a plane. The cost of the hot air balloon caper? $1 million one way. See, it is true about mad dogs and Englishmen going out in the midday sun. Because of its size, the one-of-a-kind balloon could not be tested before the flight. Either it would work or it wouldn't. The unique design used solar power by day and propane by night. The balloon had to carry 10 tons of fuel and fly at 30,000 feet. So, their capsule had to be pressured to withstand temperature swings from 50 degrees below zero to 50 above. It also had to float. The balloon itself was the largest ever built, 2.3 million cubic feet. That took 12 miles of fabric to cover the outside skin, and fully inflated, it would tower 19 stories high. You could have stacked 7 of Branson's jumbo jets inside. Before Lindstrom and Branson were ready to fly, they practiced in a prototype half the size of the Atlantic balloon and encountered the first brush with the Grim Reaper. On a routine training flight, engineer Lindstrom's hand got snagged in the rigging as a gust of wind lifted the balloon. Before he had time to think, he was up, up and away. Whoa! The accident cost him a broken arm. Lest you think co-pilot Branson fared any better, check out his first solo landing. And remember, this is what the multimillionaire does for fun. Woof! As well as flying, Branson had to learn skydiving in case he needed to bail out. His first 2 jumps were almost his last.
First few moments I was trying to keep my balance. It was okay for about 10 seconds. Then made a tremendous mistake. I let my legs drop underneath me. To my horror, I found myself tumbling towards Earth. The 2 trainers were trying to get to me, and one of them managed to get to my back leg. And just as he managed to get to my back leg, I managed to get hold of the ripcord and pull it. And with a great sense of relief, I was hurtled up into the air. That wasn't so frightening, but actually getting back in that plane again and climbing up again to 12,000 feet and sitting on the edge of the plane and going the second time was terrifying. I then did by far and away my best flight, but what I did not realize was that my hand was not going to the ripcord, it was going to the release button, which got rid of my parachute. And the instructor on my left was smiling because he could see I was doing it correctly, but he couldn't see where my hand was going to. The instructor on my right was shaking his head and trying to stop my hand, and I couldn't work out what he was meaning. In fact, I was so pleased with myself. I finally took my hand down, pulled what I thought was the ripcord.
No! Branson pulled the wrong cord. In Lifestyle's exclusive stop action, you can actually see the chute leaving. His instructor's pull on the reserve saved his life.
Anyway, I now feel I can almost go for anything, and I'll feel good about it compared to that.
Oh, yeah? Well, amazingly, there was to be an even closer brush with death. As final preparations were underway at the launch site, one crucial test remained.
Anyway, just one thing that's obviously critical when we touch down is that the 4 bolts which attaches to the balloon explode and cut us away from the balloon. And this is just a quick test to see if it goes. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready? No. Sorry.
The little hitch proved very prophetic. Branson's mum put on a brave face as her son waved goodbye. Despite a year's preparation, despite Lindstrom's expertise and Branson's millions, both men were gambling the ultimate wager, their lives. As the balloon left the ground, a ton of propane fuel fell off. It was too late to turn back. The daredevils were on their own, and all anyone could do was pray.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
Keep him overnight, but Lieutenant Wiley tried to break.
Well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh, Lord.
Propelled by the jet stream at 140 miles an hour, the Atlantic crossing took a scant 31 hours, and they made landfall in Ireland. But their luck had run out. Those explosive bolts that went off late didn't fire at all. As they desperately dumped propane tanks, the balloon dragged the capsule out over the Irish Sea. Lindstrom leapt 60 feet into the water, but with his weight gone, the balloon shot back up into the clouds with Branson still aboard. Thinking his friend had died from the plunge, Branson spent 2 terrifying hours contemplating almost certain death by jumping into the water. Below, Lindstrom struggled to stay afloat in it. Suddenly, the balloon plummeted into the cruel sea, and split seconds before certain death, Branson jumped clear. Both men were plucked to safety and into the Guinness Book of World Records. Branson was philosophical about death's close call.
A lot of people, as children, have boyhood dreams about what they want to do when they grow up. Most people are unable to fulfill those dreams. I'm in a position where I can fulfill those dreams. I know that I would regret it if when I'm a grandfather one day and I've got my grandchild on my knee, if I tell him, well, I had all these opportunities and I said no.
Lifestyle salutes Richard Branson, the millionaire daredevil, and we promise to be right there with him on his next challenge. He's the mogul who gambled the one thing money can't buy, his own life.
Ahead, it's strictly A-list at Prince Renier's Monte Carlo party for Hollywood's elite. Plus, Milton Berle's pioneering television days when shows were a real hit. Stay with us. San Francisco. Some say the city always had the Midas touch. Since the gold rush of '48, young men have gone west to strike it rich. Their modern-day counterpart is easy-riding entrepreneur Richard Thalheimer.
I came to San Francisco originally because I wanted to be where I thought things were happening. And it's so true that in many ways, California and the Bay Area are places where trends start. I was a young person. I arrived in San Francisco. I wanted to make a fortune, and I love toys.
Thalheimer wasn't toying around when it came to getting rich. He sensed a lifetime fascination with gadgets had more than playful possibilities. So he focused his marketing talent on the adult market, and in 1971 formed the Sharper Image, a retailing empire with positively Roman designs on the world.
Every adult really likes to play with toy products or frivolous products or fun products, and our lives are so serious that it's really great to be able to take a moment and stop and look at something that's fun and evaluate it and enjoy it.
Richard's groovy gizmos include toothbrushes, robots, high-tech vacuum cleaners, and high-tank fish bowls. Just about anything that trims, tans, or tones the body is part of Richard's Sharper Image.
I always ask myself about a product, is this something new? Is it something that people want? Is the price right? And quite frankly, is it a product that I would like to own? And that's the ultimate standard. Hello, this is Richard at the Sharper Image. May I help you?
At his Marina Side retreat in Northern California's chic Marin County, the man with a taste for top people's toys lives the good life. His multi-million-dollar mansion is impressive outside, but check out the treasures within. A devoted wine connoisseur, he owns a better stocked cellar than many top restaurants. And because the boss gets the pick of his electronic empire's huge inventory, home is a playground of weird and wonderful gadgets, including his 1981 bestseller, the Gravity Glider.
By flipping upside down, the blood goes to your brain and sort of supercharges your brain. It cleanses all the materials out and brings fresh oxygen in, and it's just a great experience. The product is a little crazy and people are a little skeptical of it, but that's the way it is with a lot of products Sharper Image sells. And my job really is to try all of them, and I keep the ones I like the best.
Richard's hands-on business savvy extends to product meetings where he plays with each new toy. The goodies are only shipped out after he gives the okay. They are shipped to his 50 stores around the country and added to his mail-order catalog.
You always have to maintain your enthusiasm if you want to be successful at anything in life. And that's the way I feel about my business, is that I love the products and I love the toys, And it's always fun to play with something new and to see the next thing. I remember as a child, I got tired of my toys very quickly. And my parents would complain that they'd buy me something the next day, I'd be tired of it. I think I'm still the same way today. My mission in life is to pick out these fun products and these toys for grown-ups. And I like that mission.
The ultimate payoff for the innovator who came west from Little Rock, Arkansas, is his private collection of big boys' toys. His pride and joy is a 1962 two-seater Mercedes, but when he's really in a rush, he takes his Piper Malibu six-seater aircraft.
Started piloting airplanes about 4 years ago because it seemed like that must be the ultimate toy. And in many ways it is, because the Piper Malibu, for example, is about a $500,000 airplane. It seems like there's two types of people. There's the type of person that likes to make money by not spending any. They save it. Then there's the type of person that likes to make a lot and spend a lot. By spending it, I enjoy all the different things there are in the world, and then I understand what it is that other people might want also. So for me, I have to enjoy spending the money.
It's a brutal job, but somebody's got to do it. Founded in 1978, the Sharper Image mailing list now reaches 3 million high-profile customers. It's the ultimate treat for dedicated fun and games people.
No matter how successful you get, you must always realize that staying hungry is really important, so that you never get complacent or start relaxing if you want to keep being successful. And to any real entrepreneur, continued success is the stimulation. To me, it feels like I'm just beginning. And that's the attitude that I want to keep, but it's the attitude I actually have. And I'm not even making it up. I just feel like I'm beginning tomorrow. And that's going to make the next 10 years pretty interesting.
Richard Thalheimer, proving that it pays to play.
History in the making. Since a generation howled at the antics of Mr. Television, he has remained the nation's funniest relative, Uncle Milty. Milton Berle forged a golden era during the 50s and single-handedly ensured America's Tuesday nights at home were never a drag.
Thanks a million.
Long before television was in its own infancy, Berle's star potential glittered.
Somebody said he should be a boy model, he's kind of cute. So I was the boy model for shoes. I was a kid actor, and my mother was, of course, you know, a detective. She was in the New York Police Department. She was a store detective, and she neglected her work, and she started to push me, and she made Gypsy Rose Lee's mother look like Mary Poppins. Talking about being a stage mother, and everything was Milton, Milton, Milton.
Once he'd wisecracked his way into Hollywood, it was movies, movies, movies. But he still kept bringing down the house on radio with his own brand of laughter. His sponsors, recognizing untapped potential, asked the young comic if he could translate that burlesque sense of humor into a brand new medium.
I was on for Texaco on radio in 1947. And they wanted to go on television. Did I have an idea? And I said, well, the only idea I have is something that I've been doing all my life, being master of ceremonies and working with each act and clowning with each act and doing shtick. So we just put that on television, had the cameras just pick it up.
America ate it up. Texaco Star Theater was thigh-slapping, gut-busting, good-natured humor, and Berle became the clown king with one very special fan.
One thing I must tell you, you'll hear a laugh in the audience, a big guffaw. That's my mother.
Lady, don't laugh. You may have children of your own one of these days.
Devotees who never stopped mourning the Star Theater's passing now have a second chance to see his classics in a 1988 television series.
So a whole new generation gets to see the real golden moments from television.
I've got young people, 14 and 13 and 15 and 16, say, hello, Uncle Milty. And I said, well, where the hell are they, how the hell do they know Uncle Milty? And it's handed down. Yeah. And it's handed down from their uncles, their aunts, their mothers, their fathers, their older brothers.
When Lifestyles returns in a moment, the bedroom joke that backfired. Plus, Milton Berle's lifetime with the Friars Club. Stay with us. George Burns might have made a name as the oldest cigar-smoking comic, but Milton Berle, pushing 80, was never far behind. He's puffed in peace since he was 14. But since his headline heart surgery, Uncle Milty has gotten a whole lot of flack from his fans.
A lot of people that I meet, we heard that you had a quadruple bypass and quadruple heart surgery, and that was a couple of years ago, back in 1985, and you're still smoking cigars. I don't think you should smoke them. People come up to me and ask me that. Well, I say to them, are you a doctor? Lady or man? They say no. I say, well, I have a very good doctor, and if he tells me not to smoke cigars, I won't smoke them.
Though serious about humoring his heart back to health, irrepressible Milton relies on more than a quick one-liner to stay in top shape.
Give me $4.95, please. Since my open heart surgery, I do a lot of exercising. I was upstairs in my room, and my gym upstairs. I have an exercise cycle, and I exercise about 20 minutes a day. I keep healthy by keeping good hours and eating certain foods and not overeating and getting a lot of rest. I get a lot of rest.
But his humor remains tireless. Imagine the surprise of Cagney and Lacey Emmy winner Sharon Glass when he popped up in the press room moments after she'd taken her award.
Thirdly, you don't know me, I don't know you personally, but I must confess, if Ruth is not around, my wife, I love you.
Milton knew he could only get away with a romantic overture to a blonde beauty because his own marriage is rock solid. He and lovely wife Ruth have become a Hollywood institution since their 1953 marriage. You'd better believe she's weathered her share of jokes about finally replacing his dominant mother. Why, even old friend Lucille Ball couldn't resist a good-natured tease about Ruth untying his mother's apron strings.
Since our first date, and Ruth has forgiven me for having a date with you because she, too, had to go when your mother was along.
We try to make every